Dear students, today I am going to teach you the second lesson of your literature book, that is Govinda's Disciple. In this lesson, you will learn that a person who wants to attain spiritual knowledge should not be fond of worldly things, because these things are hindrance in attaining spiritual knowledge. Also, you will learn that a spiritual guru or teacher does not give importance to such worldly things. आप लोग सीखेंगे इस पोयम के माध्यम से कि कोई भी व्यक्ति जो आध्यात्मिक शिक्षा को ग्रहण करना चाहता है उन्हें सांसारिक चीज़ों से दूर ही रहना चाहिए। अगर उनसे लगाव रखेंगे तो वे स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज को प्राप्त नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि ये चीज़ें आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान को प्राप्त करने में बाधा बनती हैं। तो चलिए हम इस पोयम को समझना स्टार्ट करते हैं। दिस पोयम was written by Ravindranath Tagore. So let's learn about Ravindranath Tagore. He was born in the year 1861 and died in the year 1941. He was an artist and a philosopher. He composed music, songs, and wrote plays, stories, poems, and novels. The national anthems of India and Bangladesh were composed by him. So, dear students, here we are going to start with the first stanza. Please pay attention. Far below flowed the Ganga, quick and clear, above frowned the jutting bank. In these lines, the poet says that the river Ganga was flowing. It was flowing very fast, and the water of the river was clear, but it was giving a frightening look. Frowned means to make a serious, angry, or worried expression by bringing your eyebrows close together. Why the edge of the river is called to be frowning? Because of the water, it was flowing with the full force, and therefore there was great danger to it. It seemed that it might break. So that is why the poet says that above from the jutting bank. Jutting bank already meaning, you know, I have taught you. Jutting means extending outwards. Hills dark with the woods and scarred with the torrents were gathered around. The forests were thick, and therefore these hills looked dark. Also, they had cut marks because of the swiftly flowing water. Torrents means swiftly flowing water. These hills were on every side where Govinda was actually sitting. This one is the second stanza of the poem. Govinda, the great teacher, sat on the rock reading scriptures. When Raghunath, his disciple, proud of his wealth, came and bowed to him and said, I have bought my poor wealth, unworthy of thy acceptance. In these lines, the poet says that Govinda, the great teacher, was sitting on the rock and he was studying. He was reading, going through the scriptures. During that time only, his follower, his disciple, Raghunath, came and he bowed to him and he said, I have bought my poor wealth, unworthy of thy acceptance. Raghunath told his master that he had bought his poor wealth for him. Actually, here he wanted to show off his wealth. Let's understand the third stanza. Thus saying, he displayed before the teacher a pair of gold bangles studded with costly gems and emeralds. While saying, he placed before his master a pair of gold bangles, and these gold bangles were decorated with precious gems and emeralds. Gems and emeralds, actually, these are precious stones which are used in making ornaments for decorating purposes. The master took up one of them, twirling it round his finger. When Raghunath Rao placed this pair of gold bangles before his master Govinda, he took one of the gold bangles and started spinning. Twirling means spinning, turning. So he put in his finger and started spinning it. And the stones darted shafts of light. Darted means emitted or produced. Actually, the sunlight was falling on these gold bangles, especially the one which he was spinning. When it fell, it emitted or produced rays of light. Shafts of light means rays of light. This one is the fourth stanza of the poem. So let's understand this also. Suddenly it slipped from his hand and rolled down the bank into the water. Raghunath jumped into the water. The teacher set his eyes upon his book, and the water held and hid what it stole and ran its way. In these lines, the poet says that when Govinda started spinning one of the gold bangles, suddenly it slipped from his hand and it moved down into the water. When Raghunath saw this, immediately jumped after it to get the gold bangle back. The teacher set his eyes upon his book, but his master, he kept sitting peacefully on the rock and continued reading his scripture. But the river here it is personified, that when this gold bangle fell into the water, it stole it and hid it, and then it kept on moving. This one is the last stanza of the poem. At sunset, Raghunath came back. He begged him to show him the place where it fell. Actually, it was getting dark, it was evening time, and after a long search, when Raghunath could not find the gold bangle, he came back and he asked his master to tell him the place where the bangle had fallen. The master took the other bangle and threw it into the water, saying, "There it is." Then, in the next moment, the master took the other gold bangle and he threw that gold bangle to indicate that there it was. He threw the second gold bangle into the water. Thus, he wants to make Raghunath understand, for a spiritual person, riches do not have any value. Also, a person who has come to seek his spiritual knowledge should not be fond of them. So, this was the explanation of the poem. Thank you so much.